Hey everyone, it's Austin in the middle, and I hope you're doing well today. So, I have here a video discussion that I've been trying to make for some time, but I haven't really been able to sit down and get it right. But I think this time I got my thoughts down to a point where I can make this video interesting for you all. So, I want to bring up a handful of video games that have caught my attention over the past few years, whether it be the rumor mills or through gameplay or announcements that I saw, or maybe even game trailers that I saw of games that have yet to come out for a variety of reasons, possibly because they've been either quietly shelved for the time being, or maybe they're stuck in development hell, or maybe, just maybe, they're just rumors. So, yeah, it's a lot of conjecture, it's a lot of speculation, especially when developing studios are pretty much in the quiet most of the time when it comes to stuff like this because they don't want to, I guess, damage the reputation or get customers pissed off and possibly just tune out of what other stuff they could be putting out. So I get that to a degree. But it's always bothered me how studios, especially in the most daring of examples here, will put out a game trailer, announce a year where it's set to release, and then just all of a sudden back out of the release of the game. I get the fiscal and the financial risk of putting out games sometimes where they think it's a good idea, they start development or maybe get deep into development, they put out a trailer or something, and then they notice the writings on the wall. Maybe they start to smell the roses a bit too late in the process and they back out. I can buy that sometimes, but these games, I'm just really upset that if that's the case, it's a shame, really, right? And if I haven't alluded to the fact already, some of these games, like I said, fall down that rumor mill, or they fall down that they had a game trailer or concept trailer release, but nothing else after that, or there's actual gameplay out there, but there's no word about the game for over a few years now. So I guess I'll get right into it with this first game here. Now, this one I know is strictly in the rumor mills right now, but let me tell you this, I'm excited as fuck for this if it does come out. And recently, this game developer that has put out two of my favorite games of all time, The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction and the first prototype game, has announced they have revived and come back. And that development studio is Radical. If you know where I'm going with this, I'm talking about the ever so elusive Prototype 3. Now, Prototype 3, as it's rumored online, is going to be starring the first character in the original Prototype game, Alex Mercer, and bringing him back into the fold after Prototype 2 made a very amateur mistake back in the day by bringing in a new character into the fold and basically taking away everything that made that first game special, right? To the point where it pissed off the franchise fan base that it had built, and people just tuned out of that second game. Well, here we are in 2026 with these rumors that Prototype 3 could be in secret development. Apparently, there's some game testers out there telling people online that they've been secretly testing this beta of Prototype 3. We haven't seen official gameplay yet, but let me tell you this, I'm excited if this is real because I love the original Prototype. It's in my top 5 games of all time. There's something about that game that evolved the Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction video game from the mid 2000s. If you don't know the history behind the game, Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction, which commonly is considered by a lot of superhero game fans to be the best Hulk game or easily in the top 3 best superhero games ever made. What Prototype did to that game was essentially take that gameplay, where in that game you get to follow the Hulk and do some various side missions and quests throughout different locations throughout the game. I think there was like a sand desert part, there was a urban city part, and what have you, and certain gameplay functions where essentially you're running around as the Hulk, just destroying everything in your path. Prototype is that game, reskinned, don't get me wrong, but you get to follow a more streamlined story than the original Incredible Hulk game did. The game play is more fluid. You get basically a heightened experience where you get to walk around and traverse things as a human in human form, and you can also transform into a monster form, and then of course use your monstrous superpowers akin to something like John Carpenter's The Thing, and just decimate enemies all around you, making the gameplay super fluid, super addicting, and the story is captivating as hell. I remember when it spawned that Wildstorm comic book spinoff with DC around the time the game came out, and I was reading every issue and I got sucked into that world. It just made me a lifelong Prototype fan. And Prototype 3 coming out, I think, is a good sign that Radical, if they are back, can come out into the woodwork with Prototype 3 and possibly could try to come out with an Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction remake, which I'd be super jonesed for. But, time will tell if this rumor is true and we have more games to talk about. But yeah, that's the first one that I'm just really hyped for, that I hope in my hopest of hopes comes out at some point. All right, as silly as that sounded. Next game we're going to talk about is a game that I know a lot of fans are hyped for. I have been basically in the loop with this game since 2023, or actually even before that, because there's a Marvel game that I think is actually finally coming out that's been in development hell for quite a few years now, which is Marvel's Wolverine. And this game I was more hyped for because, unlike Marvel's Wolverine, this game actually looks like a comic, and it's based on one of my favorite comic book characters of all time, Blade. Now, this Blade game, Marvel's Blade, is being made by Bethesda, and really, when that game trailer came out in 2023, I was waiting and waiting and waiting for gameplay to follow that. And like a lot of fans that probably are tuning into this video, and about the Blade game, like myself, we were waiting for gameplay to come out, and it just never did. Until this day, the only thing about the video game that we know is that trailer. and the game hasn't been canceled or anything, and it blows my mind how Bethesda, which is honestly one of the most respected game developers out there in the game right now, it blows my mind how this game has been stuck in limbo for so long. Looking into it, it seems like it's been going back and forth whether it's going to be an Xbox exclusive title or it's going to be multi-platform. Like, going back to Prototype 3, I wouldn't doubt at all if Radical comes in with maybe with like a contract exclusivity with Sony and PlayStation. I wouldn't doubt that at all. I would like it if they come out across all platforms like Switch and Xbox as well. But for Blade's situation with the whole Bethesda thing, them going to Xbox, I have an Xbox One. I would, bite the bullet, and I would, I guess, buy it for the Xbox digitally if I had to. But if that's the case of why this game is taking so long, then I just think that's just kind of bullshit. Unless there's been some ripples in effect with the developing team trying to, I guess, master the game's look, because modern game critics really, and I mean really harshly, come down on these big game developers' releases, making sure the game looks polished and whatnot. If that's what we're waiting on and we're going to get a perfect game out of it, fine, so be it. But it's been goddamn 3 years now. And I highly doubt we're getting Blade in 2026. At the earliest, I would say it's 2027, but even then, I'm still holding my breath, man. Um, it's a shame, man. I mean, all these people wanted that Mahershala Ali Blade movie that got canceled by Marvel, probably for the better after Deadpool 3 came out and brought back Wesley Snipes into the fold. Um, I really want something quality from Blade. You know, recently Marvel Comics has put out a pretty, half decent Blade comic, and I've been reading that since issue 1. But I think an immersive video game experience for Blade has been something that a lot of longtime fans have been missing, especially if you grew up on that god awful PS1 game from the original 1998 movie, or that Blade 2 game from the original Xbox era and PS2. If you grew up playing those games, man, um, this Blade game has been a long time coming. For me personally, I would be frothing at the bits if like all of Blade's rogues gallery is in the fold, and I would love it if the Darkstalkers characters from the comics are in there, and maybe even like some movie exclusive characters from the New Line era, like Abraham Whistler and Abigail Whistler. I'd kill for that, and maybe like a Hannibal King, Ryan Reynolds skin. I mean, come on, how badass would that be? But yeah, the sky's the limit with this game. It's captured my imagination for a long time. I can't believe it's not out. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that one. Now, moving on to the final two. This one, not a lot of people have probably heard of this game, but this was announced in like an indie game trailer for 2023 a few years ago. And when I saw this game, it was something that just captured me. And it's an indie developed game by this guy named Hayden, who made a Twitter page for this game years ago and hasn't posted anything to the page or on YouTube for that matter in almost 3 years, which is alarming. Or maybe, just maybe, he ran out of money. Maybe he ran out of the inspiration to continue on. I don't know. There's no update on it. But the game in question is Jamphibian. Now, Jamphibian's gameplay is available on YouTube and across other social media platforms. And what catches my eye the most is that it's basically a rhythm-based RPG game that's open world. And when you watch the gameplay, you got this samurai sword wielding frog with a boombox that attacks people and plays rhythmic beats, I guess in like a song unison. And the gameplay looks so much fun where you can grind on rails with the samurai sword and you can swing like Spider-Man from building to building. It's a very ambitious looking game with cell shading, albeit, it's not as polished given the gameplay I've seen so far from it. I'm guessing that's maybe something that's been a roadblock, I guess, to get the game out in a condition where most casual fans will be happy, especially with certain cell shaded games coming out in recent years, like Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which is like a hugely popular indie made game from Team Reptile. Jamphibian looks pretty much cut from the same cloth of Bomb Rush Cyberpunk and Team Reptile stuff, and I don't know, there's something about this game that is screaming, I need to play this. It's kind of like if you took the old Spider-Man games from the original Xbox and blended it together with Jet Set Radio Future, man. There's something about it that just screams, I need to play this so bad. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people who are out there that love independent games. I've never been like a huge champion of independent games, but if I see one that catches my eye or that looks visually striking or something I want to play, of course I'm going to go out of my way and support them. And it's saddening to see that this game was like really hyped for in 2023 once people started catching wind about the gameplay, and we've gone almost 3 years without any word on future development or any word if it was canceled or put aside for the time being, or maybe it's trying to change hand and publishers. I don't know. It's sad, but I hope that the developer Hayden here can come out with an update, or maybe get the game out in working order in the near future. I'd be one of the first customers to pre-order or actually buy the game if that ever does happen. But yeah, we'll get there when we get there. And last but not least, this last game has pissed me off so bad because I am a lifelong Creepshow fan. And back in maybe it was 2022, 2023, we got an announcement from Dread XP in partnership with Skybound, aka an affiliate from Image and AMC, that there was going to be a Creepshow video game. And a trailer dropped for the game that blew my mind. And it opened the doors to me of what I've always heard was a lost game in the 1990s based around Tales from the Crypt, and how Creepshow can finally right the wrongs of history of that canceled PC game for Tales from the Crypt and bring it to modern audiences based around the Creepshow IP. The artwork in the animation looked incredible in the trailer. The character focused in the trailer looked like a brand new character. It seemed like, from what I was able to gather of information online, it was going to be based kind of like the TV show, where there's certain parts of the game that are based around certain stories written specifically for the game, or I guess adapted for the game. There's no word on what the stories are called, what they're about, possibly stories that they're pulling from authors or anything like that. There's no word at all. All we had was that trailer to go on and nothing else. And there's been radio silence for years. It was supposedly supposed to come out a few years ago, never did. And I've been patiently waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And sure enough, you go on Dread XP's website and there's nothing there. And there's no official word from them if it's been canceled as of now. I'm assuming one of two things is probably going on. Maybe they're polishing up some things or waiting for something bigger with the IP to drop the game, which is actually going around in the rumor mills right now for the Creepshow IP. If you're not in the know, there's people on the convention circuits that get to talk to the head showrunner, or I guess the head person behind Creepshow these days, Greg Nicotero, and have had conversations with him where he's openly said that Creepshow is coming back with movies. That's why the TV show ended. I don't know if this perhaps is going to be tied with that, or maybe, just maybe, because Creepshow is right now in a weird state where we got a short story collection coming out within the week of me making this video, and we got a new comic book series spinoff called Super Creepshow. I don't know if they're trying to incorporate more elements from the comics themselves. I couldn't tell you, and maybe that's what's halting the game. I in my heart of hearts, that's what I want to believe, right? It's possibly that, but really, where I think this game is right now, like, I don't think it's canceled, but I think right now, Dread XP just has other projects that are more committed. And Creepshow, Shudder being partnered with them, and Skybound and all of that. I don't think they're really putting that much stock into the game. Granted, supposedly there's supposed to be a bunch of Creepshow figures coming out with Mego a few years ago based around the TV show, and they've created a whole line and tested them out in like toy circuits, and then the toy line ended up getting, I guess, quietly shelved or canceled. I don't know. But it coincided around the time where the game, I guess, quietly got, put on the back burner too. And ever since they officially announced last year, back in September, that the TV show was canceled, I've almost lost complete faith that this game will ever come out anytime soon. But I'm holding out hope. One could hope. I would love a Telltale series based around the Creepshow IP, going into unique stories and being able to live the stories out. I don't know if it would be like a survival horror type of thing, or a choose your own adventure type of thing where your choices impact the rest of the game, and maybe that will affect replayability, or maybe there could be DLCs involved. where you could unlock more stories to the game. That's cool too. Um, this is one of those games that really the sky's the limit as long as you have faith in the game and you make it quality. I think people would come to it. It's been a long time since a Telltale video game series or a game with a lot of DLC has come out to kind of liven up the that part of the market that people are looking for certain video game experiences. It's a sad reality that we live in that this game hasn't come out yet to facilitate that, but you know, it is what it is at this point. So yeah, that's basically all I got. This is a short and sweet video. 4 video games. Prototype 3, Marvel's Blade, Jamphibian, Creepshow. These are 4 games that I want to see the most come out in the near future that have been somewhat teased or announced or rumored out there to be in existence. I know I'm missing a few games that I know are stuck in development hell that have been stuck in that hell for quite a long time. Or there's other games in different series that might be rumored out there or being discussed out there that I didn't cover in mine video here. So let me know down in the comment section what your thoughts about the games I was talking about. What your opinions about their status, if they ever come out. Do you want to see these games come out? And most importantly, also let me know what games that you're looking forward to the most. Are there games that maybe you think I would like that I should look into and maybe play in the future? I don't know. By all means, leave your recommendations down in the comment section below. And until next time, take care.